We haven't seen each other in a minute.
You and I?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Like the whole team has been rotating vacations or trips through all of July. Every single one of us has been gone in some capacity at some time. So it feels good to have us all back here together.
I know.
in the same space.
We had dinner last night with Sam, and we haven't seen him in a minute either. And I was like going through my pictures to like try to recount everything that we've missed because like
I do the same thing to try and figure out what.
Like when was the last time we saw your ass? Oh
Right.
yeah. Okay, here. Let's recount because there have been ridiculous stories that have happened this summer that, as they say, you can't make this shit up. You know what I mean? Just
1,000%.
yeah. Now, the most recent one for us was when we went to Hershey and we had what I would consider like a horrific hotel experience. However, we were in it and also laughing. Like, have you ever been in a situation that's either been like
That's the best
traumatic
way. Yeah.
or like crazy or like completely out of your control and there's nothing you can do about it, but you're in it and you're like, how do we make the best of this situation? That was this situation.
Did you cry as well, or is it laugh? Just laugh and cry, or laugh or cry?
There was no crying. I was pissed. It was more like I was like, this is hysterical and disgusting and this is going to be great content. Like you like just couldn't make it up. Like it just kept getting worse.
The text messages of the ones of the story were coming in real time while I was on a meeting.
Oh, for real?
Her and Kara were on the call as you're telling me the story.
Were you guys dying?
I mean, we were all like cry laughing, just dying as I'm like reading it. I'm like, oh guys, update.
Well, let's welcome everybody and talk about what today's topic is about, because I think this story highlights how things can shift when decisions are made from one timeline to another.
Well, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about this is like baby intro steps to the idea of quantum physics, quantum timelines, what that even looks like from a very basic standpoint. This is a subject that I find highly interesting. We had Naisha Arcelay on our podcast 2 seasons ago, I guess it was now. And her and I started to go down this line of thinking, and I was just like, I have to dig into this more. So I'm putting this out there in the universe. If there's anybody that is an expert in this field, come to us, because I want to dig in more. But we're going to be talking about what that means in terms of the space that you exist in now, the space that your soul exists in, and how timelines coexist and or layer, depending on schools of thought. There's so much.
I mean, there really is. And the interesting thing about like quantum physics in general and just the science behind it is a lot of scientists have a hard time wrapping their head around quantum physics, because part of like the scientific framework is it has to be replicable. You have to be able to reproduce it. You know, you have to have all the answers to the makeup and the whys and there's not a ton that can be replicated in a repetitive way. It can happen multiple times, but you can't measure it either. And so
some of it can be. Make sure if you're doing research in this that you go to a reputable source and you don't just get into a TikTok scroll.
Well, yeah,
because there's a lot of people take one little snippet of information and they think they know everything, and then they make a bunch of TikToks about it, and it's all bullshit.
Yeah. Stanford has a whole department on it. Harvard has a whole department. UCLA. A lot of universities have a quantum physics department. So it's not like the science doesn't exist. But again, this is kind of touching the very tip of the iceberg. And it's one of those subjects that keeps getting debunked and re-looked at, which is really fun. Because as humans, we like to have answers to questions, and we like to have the reasons behind why things happen. And that's not always the case with quantum physics and quantum timelines and things. So,
okay, so let's welcome everybody.
That sounds good.
Welcome to Two Mystic Mamas. So I thought about a lot of different metaphors for this. and I was exploring them, and I kept finding little holes in them. The word quantum kind of refers to a tiny, discrete amount. I think that if you look at dollar bills, right? Or you think about increments of money as something that, like, ugh, I lost it. It's so hard to wrap your mind around.
Well, I think the word quantum really intimidates a lot of people too.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean spiritual or mysterious at all. It has to do with a unit,
Right.
right?
Right. And also the word physics. Because let's be honest. I mean, I know those those people exist that just like love physics and really want to get down with all things. But it can be just those two words together, I think, just intimidate people to be like, nope, that sounds hard. That sounds difficult. I don't want to really think about it. But in true reality, I mean, I would look at it like this human experience that we are having right now, and everyone that's listening, if you pictured yourself as a tree, right? And how you started as a seed and then you grew into a tree. Quantum physics or quantum timeline jumping or thinking about how a tree develops, you have branches, but it's still all interconnected, right? So, like, your soul is still interconnected to any of the timelines that you've been on. Maybe that makes it easier to think about, right? Like, you have these different branches that go and they grow and they spiral and they curve, and those are different choices. Those are different avenues that you've taken throughout your life that have taken you and grown in a certain way. And then you're still centered and you're still rooted within that trunk.
And quantum physics does not prove that multiple timelines exist. They are unable to prove that. But there's a couple of interpretations here that happen. And it's like, okay, so you are hiking through your forest, right? And you come to a fork and you can go left or you can go right, right? And you choose to go left. Now you've gone left. What happens to the other choice? Does it still exist or does it not exist, right? And the one that I believe it's called the Copenhagen interpretation is that even though there can be possible outcomes when it's measured, only one outcome becomes reality, right? And this is when you roll a die and it pops up with a number, that's the only number that you see. That's the only thing that exists at that point. So I think when you're talking about the science of it, that's what a lot of people are teaching. But then instead of other possibilities disappearing, there's this whole idea that every possibility continues,
Yes. Like the
right?
possible selves.
So, like, there's another version of the forest if you went the other direction that still exists.
Which is so interesting that we're taking and having this conversation now after reading The Midnight Library, because that's really what that explores as well. And that gives, it's a fictional based book, but that was the first book that we started with our book club, and it explores kind of similar to that, but like, what if you chose the other road that
Yeah, this
your
is what your life could
conscious
look like,
didn't choose? Yeah.
right?
And the other thing that it brings into account is the conscious and the subconscious too.
Because you can't confirm that,
Well, right.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
To your point in the beginning, it's hard to measure. You can measure what you see on through certain kinds of testing and imaging,
Correct.
but you can't measure it.
Right.
You can only theorize about it.
Well, and the thing too, when it comes to like measuring, is like scientists created that too, that in order to prove something, you have to be able to measure it. And a lot of this, when it comes to like working with energy or working with soul contracts or working with the soul in general, and now especially when you have telepathy coming into play and you have a theoretical place where nonverbal folks are meeting and having conversations, and it doesn't even sound like communication that we would even remotely be able to wrap our heads around.
Hmm.
I mean, it just kind of fucking blows everything open more to be like, we are so much smaller than we even conceptually can wrap our head around,
Right.
based on what we know now about entities and souls being able to communicate
Right.
interdependently without verbalizing and using language.
Well, I mean, I think that like the reality is of life and of all of this is way stranger than common sense could ever predict, right?
Yeah, one of the movies I didn't get a chance to watch, but I have on my research list for this episode was Doctor Strange. So Marvel touches on this a lot. And you'll find this too. I mean, even with we've talked about Disney and how Disney movies are highly spiritual. The movie Soul is basically a very accurate interpretation of what a soul's journey looks like. So if you need to watch a movie, if you're a visual person, go watch that movie because the music in it is incredible, but also the messaging is incredible as well. But the movie I watched last night that touches on this is Sliding Doors.
Oh, I've not even heard of that.
So it's from 1998 when Gwyneth Paltrow was in her heyday.
Okay.
Very tiny, skinny little eyebrows. Oh my God, I'm so glad we're not in that fucking era anymore. So the movie, basically, in essence, and this is like a great interpretation of making, not even making choices, having things happen the way they're supposed to happen. This is the very beginning of the movie, so I'm not spoiling anything. She gets fired from her job, bunch of men, pricks, goes to leave work, and in one interpretation of it, is able to make the train and get home to her apartment that she shares with her boyfriend to find him in bed with another woman. And then it plays out from there. The other one, she misses the train. She does not get on it by a split second. Gets mugged, has to go to the hospital because she smacked her face off a tree. Does not catch her boyfriend in bed with the other woman. And it plays out that way. It allows you to think about throughout your life pivotal moments where decisions were made that took you down a path.
100%. And three different things come into play here. You've got the physics of it, right? You have the philosophy of it, and you have the spirituality part of it. And they all are existing kind of together
100%.
with completely different interpretations of what's happening.
Yep.
And it's so interesting because then as you're explaining this whole movie, it makes me think about what you manifest subconsciously through your thoughts, through your feelings, through your words. Like
All of it.
all of it is happening at the same time.
Yes. And the people that get brought into our lives for a specific reason. And sometimes we don't even know. Like, we don't even know the reasons yet, but we know that they were brought in for something. And this happened last week for Jeff and I. We went out, had an impromptu date. We haven't had a date all summer, and it just so happened that we were able to go, and we went to this new place. Oh my God, you and Charlie would love it. It's a giant ass pickleball court, indoor
Ooh.
pickleball
Where's it at?
facility. It's right by us in Lawrence. So we go there because they have a happy hour. It was mediocre. So we just had a beer and we split a sandwich. And then we left, went to another place, had another beer, left there, went and had one more drink at the Mexican restaurant by our house, La Calera. Their food is so good. And because we had split this sandwich, so I was getting a little bit hungry. I was like, let's just go and get some chips and salsa. We sit down. This other couple sits down next to us after we have our drinks, and she brings our beers and we cheers each other, which we normally do. It's just like part of our kind of tradition. And they were like, the one guy said something to the effect of, "Is this your first date?" And
Yes.
I was like,
Yes,
no,
it is.
it's not. But it's our first date this summer. And then, anyways, we started laughing and talking, and him and his husband, they've been married for 4 years, but it seems like they've been together forever. Like, they have that chemistry with each other. And we get to talking, and they were like, "What do you do? What do you do?" And naturally, I was like, "I have a podcast and I have a spiritual based business." And they were like, "Oh my God." And it was evident just in our conversations and how our chemistry was coming together that, like, we were supposed to meet them that night. Like, we exchanged numbers, we gave each other hugs.
I love that.
The one gentleman had lost his son in February, and I know that had something to do with it too. And then after the fact, after, days had passed, I was home at mom and dad's. I had texted him and said, can I pull you a card this morning? And he was like, please do. And so, I don't know how it's going to manifest completely in all of the ways, but I know that that night, our date night, we were supposed to meet these guys. And they were like, they're like inviting us to their Halloween party. It's like a whole thing. And so you have these interactions that happen almost daily. And sometimes we don't even regulate or record in our brain why they're happening. I'm very aware of it because this is the work I do all the time. So, I mean, even coming here, I hadn't turned onto your road yet, but this beautiful bright cardinal flew right across. And I was just like at peace knowing, whatever. I just knew it was a sign,
Right.
a sign
Right.
of my ancestors being present, just being, like there's always signs that just are given to us to let us know that we're on the right path, we're doing the right thing. People come into our webs for quantum time life shifts. I mean, you create what you want. However, the universe also gives you what you want. You
Well,
just have to be
and
aware
and
to
then you
like
have
focus on it.
choice. You have choice of what to do, right? Like you had a choice of whether or not to exchange phone numbers, of to text back and forth with this person, and now this new relationship is being built out of it, right? I had something similar happen. We were on vacation recently, and the last 3 years we've stayed in the same place, and we've just happened to be there at the exact same time as this other woman and her 3 daughters, and she's a single mom, and her and I connected like each time, but we never connected until this year. And Evie and her daughters are like, so she has one going into 8th grade, one going to ninth grade, and one going 10th grade.
Oh, wow.
And she is an amazing badass mama. She runs an auto body shop. Like she's just this incredible like force. And Evie just like slides in as like the fourth sister. And this is the first year that we like, other than hanging on the beach together, that we actually like spent time. We made dinner plans. We like went to amusement parks. Like we did all this stuff together, which was so fun. So that's the one situation that's kind of happening and occurring. At the same time, she starts talking to me about another guy who has 3 daughters, who was also there the year before at the same time as us. And he had pulled his chair up right next to hers and was just sitting there like watching his daughters in the ocean, and they were talking about the dolphins that they could see out in there. So my friend and I are in the ocean, and she's telling me this, and we're like playing in the waves and we're talking about all of this, and she's like, God, I haven't seen dolphins all week. And she starts telling me this story, and we turn around and there's dolphins right behind us, right? So the whole week goes on and she doesn't know what to do about this. Like, they're like skirting around each other, right? They're like talking to each other, but not talking to each other, whatever.
But there's chemistry there.
Huge chemistry. So full circle now, she kind of had a choice on like what she was going to do with this whole misconnection thing. And she like went with her gut, and now they're like talking all the time.
I know, isn't that I was gonna say a lot
I
of these
mean,
quantum physics things, I think really a lot of people could trace them back to like the beginning of their relationships, like especially if they're in a marriage or they're in a committed, serious relationship and
you have choices that
the
you have
events
to
leading
make.
up to it.
I
Yeah.
mean, we very much have a story like that. Charlie, and I didn't find this out until maybe 2 or 3 years into our relationship. The very first time he pulled in here to meet Evie, we had like a little party the first time he was going to meet her, to just make it like all of my friends and all the people she knew were here. So it was just kind of easy breezy, and it wasn't like so much pressure for her to meet him. And when he pulled in, he got a message from someone who was asking him to come to Texas and take a job there and work. And he turned it down because he wanted to pursue this relationship. And that would have completely changed the trajectory of our lives.
Yep.
Like just that one tiny little decision. There's so many stories like that that you're like, but this could also be this.
100%. Oh my god, we didn't get back to my story. People are just hanging on by a thread about
Which,
what happened at the hotel and how things
Jesus, that was so long ago.
could have gone differently. But it involves so many fun aspects.
No, go.
Have you guys heard the story yet? Oh, well, no, because you were on vacation. Okay.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Let me clear my
I'm just
throat.
going to set the tone. Okay. We're at Hershey Park. It's a beautiful day. It's summer. We get there when it opens, which is 10 a.m. We stay until it closes, which is 10 p.m. There are 4 adults. There are 5 children, one of which is a 6-year-old raging, crazy little lady named Isla.
Tiny Rachel.
Yeah, tiny Rachel on crack. Our friends gift us a hotel room with them at a lovely establishment, but trust me, I want to put them on blast. I do. I will refrain. We get to this hotel. It is after 10 p.m. Everyone is cranky AF. We are tired AF. Everyone is hungry AF. So you get the feel. You get the gist of how everyone is vibing right
Lots
now.
of AFs.
Okay?
Mhm.
Okay. Everybody gets their stuff.
You're not vibing. I think you're all raging at this point.
We get into the elevator. One elevator is working. We get up to our floor, 4th floor. We go to our room. Emmeline is the first to open the door. Opens the door, immediately gets hit with like all this stagnant old cigarette smoke. And she's like, oh, mom, it smells so bad in here. I was like, just get in the room. Just get in the room. We'll figure it out. Just get in the room. And then Isla proceeds, because it's a suite, so it has like a little kitchenette right in the front, to look in the sink. And she's like, what's that? And I look, and there is a motherfucking cockroach just running around in the sink. And I was like, everybody out into the hallway. Because it's 10, right? So I want to be respectful of people at this point. But now I'm like, get the fuck out of the room. Just get out of the room. Our friends are down the hall at their room. I go down. We've had a very long day. And the room smells horrifically bad. In addition, there is a live cockroach running around in the sink. I'm going to need a new room. Just like that. And he was like, yes, of course. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Like he knows the energy I'm giving off right now is, do not make this difficult. Just give us another room, please, sir.
I don't know if you guys know this about Rachel, but she's super easygoing in situations like this.
So we get up to the room, clean, fresh air. Everything smells great. Towels, clean. No cockroaches. Only decaf coffee, but everything looks good. Copacetic. At this point, I did have a beverage in my hand because they had brought a whole cooler of beverages, and I was like, I need a beverage. I know we're ordering pizza, however, so we all have a beverage. We're sitting in there. All the kids are in our room, and Jeff and Alicia's in the room, and Graham pops his little body down on the floor and then bings right back up and is like, I think that there's a cucumber under the bed. And I was like, oh my fucking God. I was like, and I just like locked eyes with Jeff, and I was like, no. Okay. No, we don't say anything. I just lock eyes with him. Like, this is not fucking happening right now. So then Cannon, the other little boy, jumps down on the ground too. And he's like, I don't know. I think it might be a dog toy. And I was like, oh my God. Right? So then Alicia goes down and she looks and she's like, it is. It's a dog toy. I was like, great. Just leave the fucking dog toy there. Like, don't touch the dog toy. Just leave it there. We don't have any need for this dog toy. We go back, have a couple sips of my drink. Isla pops off the ground with said dog toy in her hand. It's a motherfucking purple dildo. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, drop the dog toy. I'm like, just drop it. And she's like, why? I was like, it's dirty. It's a dirty dog toy. And I am like really trying to keep my shit together. I am trying to not lose it. So I don't even think I showed you this picture.
I did not get the picture.
I
just got the text stream.
I grabbed the paper towel and I put said dog toy in trash can. So now I text Charlie and I'm like, we just found this under the bed. So I text our group chat and I'm like, well, the kids just found this That's the other thing. Like, the kids found this, right? Like, it's not like one of us found it and we could discreetly do away with it. No, it's out there in the open. So Charlie brings the whole trash can down to the front desk and is like, this is a problem. He's like, we have had all of this happen within half an hour of being here. He's like, we are not paying for these rooms. He's like, I want all of my points back and then some. Okay? So we go to bed. At that point, well, we ate, and then I was like, everybody needs to go to bed. We have an early day. We're not staying at this hotel tomorrow. Clearly, we will stay in the van. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So the next morning, I get up. I go to take a shower. Water starts pooling in the bottom of the tub. So I clearly know that there is a drain situation. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this hotel. I am over it at this point. I'm like, whatever. Just get the shower, get out. Graham gets up. He wants to get a shower. Fine. Get a shower. Let's go. We'll pack up. We'll leave. He finishes his shower and he's like, Mom, can you come here? And I was like, yeah. I go in. He's like, look what I pulled out of the drain. And I was like, oh my God. I was like,
another penis.
Another dildo. You get a dildo and you get a dildo.
It's like fucking Oprah.
So I tell Graham, I'm like, it is only appropriate to clean our drains at our house. You do not clean the drains at the hotel. He was so proud of himself.
I'm sure he was.
I mean, so proud. And I could
bleach
knock
his fingers off.
I mean, I was like, don't touch it. Again, telling my children, don't touch it. Just leave. And I told him, I was like, just leave it there. That's their gift. That's their motherfucking parting gift. Maybe you need to clean, take a little bit more time.
Did you tell them about it when you left?
I send it to Charlie. And he was like, more fuel to my fire. He had to tell this story like 3 different times. Now, the best, what I think is kind of the ironic part was we went to the second hotel, which was by far, I mean, there's still another funny story to come on that part. But it was clean. It was new. It had all the things. It was great. I was telling the manager when we left that hotel how wonderful everything was as opposed to our initial hotel. She tells me that the assistant manager has recently quit their hotel to go work at that hotel. And I was like, well, she's fucked. I was like, that hotel is a shithole. It is not in good shape. It's not run well. She's like, yeah, she already wants to come back, but we said no. Well,
that sucks.
The path that she took was not a good path. I bet they offered her more money, but there's going to be a lot more work. And
okay. All right. So I have a question. Let's just talk this out, right? Mm-hmm. When life presents you with all of these things that happen, do you think that no matter what, you're still meant to come around to something? So if we go back to
oh yeah.
Right. So if we come back to me and Charlie, right? As we went through our relationship, we found out that previous to us ever meeting, there were all these places that we should have met. That we were in the same space, right? Mm-hmm. We never met, whatever. Which is makes me think we were meant to come full circle. Same. So do you think that in this existence, that no matter what, you were meant to find this purple dildo?
Oh, for sure.
In your hotel room.
Yes. I think it's one of those situations where our kids will never forget it. It was fucking hilarious. At some point when they're older, I mean, Emily knows what it is, but at some point we will explain to them that it 100% was not a dog toy. And you can't make it up, right? And
no.
The other thing is, we really kept our shit together. I did not lose my cool because it really wasn't the manager's. I mean, ultimately it is the manager's and the owner's fault and problem that they have to deal with. But I feel like if you can give a situation back to somebody in that kind of manner to say, this is unacceptable. You have to fix this. Clean under your fucking beds.
Right.
Or get the beds that go all the way down. I don't know. Come up with a solution, homie. But the whole thing. But we also made a choice not to stay in that hotel. We were supposed to stay in that hotel for 2 nights. And there was no way in hell that was happening.
Right.
I definitely would have stayed in the van had we not. All right. Well, let's bring it home. I feel like we've been talking for a long time and I have to pee.
All right. So a couple of things if you're trying to wrap your mind around this. And this is ultimately when I was going through trying to think about this, the first time that I kind of, Naisha was talking about how the idea of past lives, right, are not actually past lives because of this whole idea, right?
Correct.
And they're actually happening simultaneously at the same time. That is a real mind fuck for pretty much everybody. But I was able to relate it back to something. And when I was getting my drone pilot license and I was having to learn about airspace, the way that they explain it is that it's like layers of a wedding cake, right? So you have different layers of airspace that have different restrictions. And that's kind of one way that you can look at that too, right? Is that these are kind of all layers. And you can look at that in terms of like, this is something that happened way in the past, or this is like the present, or this is the future, however you want to kind of wrap your mind around it. So that's one way that you can look at it. The other way that kind of makes more sense for me is if we're looking at our life and we're looking at our soul's incarnation, if you will, through a prism, right? It goes in looking like one thing and it comes out with all of these different rays. And those are all the different iterations of what's happening in our life. So it's not that they're not happening, but it's about what you're seeing through the perspective and through the lens that you have at that moment. I don't know, that works for me more than anything on a spiritual level.
Yes.
Because like growth is not linear. It's the same with all of this, right? Everything's not on some sort of flat timeline as we kind of view it to be in our life when we're looking at birth to death, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those subjects that I think it just gives you a lot to think about and to ponder and imagine.
It's so much bigger than us.
So much bigger. Right. And the other thing that's really interesting is that we don't need to know the answers. I think it goes back to a lot of like surrendering to the flow and not needing to control. I think as humans, we've been, especially just in our current society and the way it's like control provides structure and we need structure to survive. And to some degree that is true, but I also think the surrendering of just letting life unfold and not needing to control allows so much more to flow, to come in. I think I do feel that when you control, the abundance is limited, and as is the experience. And when you allow the flow to happen, and
I think that's it. And I think that, physics offers us a model on how things may work, where the spirituality part of it offers us a model on the consciousness of it. Right?
Yeah, and how to combine those two.
Right.
Because there's just so much to, and again, this is just the tippity top of the iceberg, but it is something that's fun. I think it's exciting. I think there's plenty of examples out there, movies and shows that can highlight this and how it takes place. Yeah. You can get into Akashic records. I mean, there's a lot of modalities from a spiritual perspective to past life regressions where you can explore this in more detail for yourself. And as is anything that we talk about on the podcast, there's growth to be had and there's exploration to be had. And that is exciting. And it just lends itself to more future episodes.
Right. What's that quote? You're always one decision away from a completely different life.
Yes.
And you can take that and mold that into however all of this fits into your own lived experience.
Correct. Yeah, for sure.
You're only one decision away from finding a purple dildo under your hotel bedroom.
You can sanitize it and use it if you want. That's another choice.
No. Whoa, Tito's, there's no. You get your Tito spray out of here with this one. Do not do that. That is terrible advice.
Somebody said that.
Burn it to the fucking ground.
When I sent them the picture, they were like, "Well, don't waste a perfectly good dildo." Nope. I was like, nope. That dildo is going to be wasted. Goodbye now.
I don't know. Ceremonial burial. I don't know what you do with it. I feel bad like putting it in a landfill, but also you can't recycle that shit.
What we did with it, we picked it up and put it in the trash can.
I know, but that had to go somewhere.
Not my story to tell. I only took it so far.
This is going to be like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, but it's going to be this purple dildo's traveling through time. Somebody finds it in the South
I always
Pacific in some garbage dump.
I always tell people, look for a sign. Look for a sign. Now, I'm like, which one of you crazy motherfuckers on the other side is like, this is hilarious.
Well, guys, as always, you never know what's going to happen. None of this is scripted. We are not professionals.
Very
We're
loose
professional
agenda.
storytellers. We're professional podcasters. We're professional life livers.
That's right.
We are not physicists. We are not scientists. Okay, guys, thanks for coming. As always, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Patreon. Come and join us for all the behind scenes things that we have. And we are also starting a new newsletter that is in the works. So if you want to be a part of that, drop us a message, or you can email us at twomysticmamas@gmail.com.
We're here.
We can't do it without you. Thank you.
Ciao, bye.